This is the gentleman, Dr. Osmanagic, is actually on his tour in the United Kingdom. He's traveling the world, explaining or actually promoting project that goes to the other parts of the country, since this is the first pyramid in Bosnia that was not officially allowed from the state government.
We are here, right?
First number. There's about 5 pyramids, which he named the Pyramid of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Temple, Mother Earth, and Pyramid of Love. Most of the materials we have here, it's exposed underneath the soil and beneath this tree. So it's a structure that's artificial made, and the whole 4 sides have triangle base. It's not a typical thing to have in a natural condition. We have underground labyrinths which are connected directly to these pyramids. The tunnel Ravne, which we'll enter later. The 6th tunnel is closed after 15 years ago, or before, because it was struggling with the amount of material that we could not excavate, and it went through the river. It was too dangerous. So that's why I had to close the tunnel 6. Number 7, Ravne, has about 6 entrances which we approach from this point to get into the pyramid for at least more than 15 years. This is our goal. Official institutions from Bosnia didn't allow these excavations to the top because there's a castle. That's why we have half of the material which is protected. So that's why there's no stair to get to the top side. Tumulus is a stone temple. It's a connective structure which is also a material artificially made, but it's from it's a nearby hill across to the one of the nearest villages here in the part of the town. Tumulus in the name in Latin explains as a stone temple, or a certain amount that associates to the grave, even though nobody found it, a structure of dead people, or actually the remains of dead people here. Not even the pyramids in Egypt have mummies, the official ones. This is a part of a civilization that was present 20,000 years ago, because we detected by radiocarbon date. We took a soil testing. It's the last period of Ice Age that covered most of these materials. These are the experts that arrived here, or they basically came from the first years. Dr. Selim is the first Egyptologist who claimed that these pyramids are even bigger than the Egyptian ones. Actually, the Pyramid of the Sun. The other ones from Bosnia, from United States, from Russia, from Serbia, they have their statements here. They were the part of the international conferences. Some of them also explained, which we measured, that the pyramid is an energetical machine that can accumulate frequencies to a higher amount in a certain level of communication. So you can see that the behavior of this frequency is different than a natural measurement from PIP technology, from the existence of Schumann residency, until the elements of sacred geometry, which you can find on these tables. When you draw the line from the Sun Pyramid, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Dragon, there's an equilateral distance in 2.12 kilometers. It's a sacred material side, so basically a kind of a intelligence that created most of these structures. The question was, with what kind of technique, since this is older than the Paleolithical or the first Stone Age periods from the human race. So it could be an advanced culture that lived here before. Have a nice view to take a picture. If you see the town over here, we'll make a stop at these first.
Maybe a little bit high. I will take.
Of course, it's just a suggestion. Which part of Turkey do you come from?
Muğla, Bodrum.
Well, I can tell you speak a lot of fluency in English. Have a lot of fluency in English. Most of Turkish people don't speak even a word.
Unfortunately.
Well, Ottoman Empire came here, landed Bosnia 150 years ago. These people have a lot of similar words, but they don't speak the same English. So the descendants of Slavs, as they call it.
How many steps we have to?
Here, a step, and 2 or 3 minutes with walking to the bottom. This is the end line above. Climb over here. Standing right now, here. Still a couple of minutes. We have a straight line with the stair. We'll make a rest here. This is another equilateral picture. And there you can see that 60 degrees, 2.12 kilometers. It's the same like in Egypt, in Bolivia. We took a testing of these structures. This time when they exposed the material, it was allowed from the local or higher administration here in Bosnia. We went in town 40 kilometers away from here. 4 levels of layers we detected on these first levels, and they're rectangular. They have square and half step made shape. This side has been recorded, actually bought from the privacy owners. It costed more than 20,000 marks. In between the landscape, which we took with bulldozer, this is the workers we have to clean the area. We mostly have volunteering work until from June till October, and one of our geologists from England who worked for us back in the day, Richard Hoyle, discovered a crystal in between these materials. This is the white dolomite that's not typical for the area of central Bosnia. He explained it's not in situ. It means it's not from the space. Or it came here when it
They carry us from where?
Southern part, Herzegovina, from Konjic or Trebine.
How many kilometers here?
That's the southern part to the seaside of Croatia and Montenegro, more than 50, 70, 100 at least.
Yeah.
That's down below. It's another part of the country. The crystal like this can neutralize negative radiations, underground water passages. There's no streaming effect that's harmful. And second thing, these crystals were also found in the ceramics in the tunnel, which you can enter later. Between those ceramics, this crystal can neutralize the underground water passage, which is also the same because these passages were detected from the tunnels or beneath the pyramid. The LiDAR technique, after we exposed the structure of 60 meters, 60 quadratic meters, had explained that can go directly with the line to 368 meters with the height. It explains that the
River level.
until the river level. Until the river level. This is a LiDAR. This LiDAR is a
Where is this? Is it a school or something like
market.
that?
Market.
Why it's so crowded? Ah,
Market, piazza.
okay.
Piazza.
Pazar, yeah.
Pazar, yes.
Pazar.
Pazar. We call it piazza.
That's why it's crowded.
Yes, this is the market space, especially on Mondays.
Just Monday. Yeah.
Most of the Mondays. This is
Okay.
the tradition of this town.
Okay.
So there's the height. That's 2 times bigger than the official pyramid of Cheops in Egypt. LiDAR can use this drone. Well, this was a space that was recorded right after we purchased it. All the way to the bottom, the screen went, or the laser all the way on the main street. So the end of the pyramid, it's not by the house or the souvenir shop. It's going all the way down below to the bottom of the street, or from to
Yeah, I understand.
the direction to the river. The typical thing about this is these materials of soil came after the Ice Age period, and that's why it was crushed.
Ice Age.
Yeah, the Ice Age. 12,000 years ago, half of Europe was under levels of ice. And when the storm came afterwards, the whole material side had a flood with some kind of a storm point that actually covered these structures. The same like we have in Mexico, China, Indonesia, Cambodia. Pyramids are all around the world. But the educational system
Yeah, I
is
know.
telling that Egyptology wants to keep the theory about the pyramids as a pharaoh graves, even though they never found any traces of these pharaohs in the Cheops pyramid or the other ones in Saqqara and Giza. Strange thing from this point is that the highest that we get, there's a lower space of the ground, so there's no tree that was harvested. This is a former Yugoslav actions in 1960s to plant the trees where they didn't exist anyhow, because it was a certain policy back in the day. 50, 60 years ago, there wasn't any forest at all. They wanted to protect the ecological environment, thinking it could, some part of earthquakes could damage the houses down below. The soil would come down and destroy the environment.
I understand.
Fortunately, it never happened. The right side has about 6 tables, 5 at least. And the last table, when it stops, you can just return back. This point on the right.
Bu merdivenleri hangi geri zekalı yapmış ya? 10'ar santim, 10'ar santim. Ya ne salak insanlar var ya.
Not to forget, the foundation invested 20,000 euros or more to increase the structure on their own. This is our last route. When the border is hit, where you see the last of the tables, this is the end line for the guests to take a tour. No further excavations were allowed from the street to the top where the castle is. The state property. Of river pebbles and clay. When I told you about that picture down below, there's a first, second, third, and fourth stage. Between them is 10 centimeters of thickness. The side has been uncovered. We took a test stage. The samples were used to get a pressure for the information that's on the table. The French Institute in Paris, Politecnico di Torino in Italy, in Czech Republic, in Slovakia, in Brno, in Bratislava, 3 in Bosnia has examined 155 megapascals. Harder than ordinary cement concrete from 76
high under the high pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ordinary ones are 60, 115 to Burj Al Khalifa, the previous one from Germany or United States. Modern concretes are at least to 3% that can absorb water. We have an element of melted clay and river pebble combination, which is a bigger and higher volume of these granulates. It can hold the water stage to 1%.
Yeah.
This is a case of a liquid that cannot swallow itself, or it cannot spread through the material and damage the structure from humidity. The case of modern cement will do if you have too many lower temperature degrees. These clay material sides, which is a brownish side all the way from these blocks we exposed, from 1.5 meter of vegetation, can explain that they heated this clay, who created the structure in a higher volume or temperature to hold on to this water stage. And this kind of technique is not familiar to any.
It's not from Earth, you know. Also, I watch on in some documentary movie. They say out of Earth technologies, because they use also laser and high heat.
Yes.
Technologies, yes.
It's very similar to the story of Göbekli Tepe, even though the pyramids are not founded there. It's a megalithic structure that's older than Sumerian civilization. In the case, it's not recognized in the official archaeology. When we removed these places, there was already a pile of a land across, and we saw the shape is damaged because it was an earthquake or that soil that came after 12 or 15,000 years, because we recorded the age of soil in the Institute for Pedology. It was tested in a Bosnian site, and one of the professors explained, the name is on this table, Rasulovic, that this kind of soil came after this global tectonic movement or some kind of an earthquake. So these are two basic informations to understand the pressure. You can see these pictures of the edge or on the top side from this point, and the cardinal point, which can be recorded to 0 degrees, 0 minutes and 12 seconds of error. It explains that the Pyramid of the Sun has one of the most precise orientations when you compare these astronomical parts of the Pyramid of Cheops, Khephren, or other ones in Egypt, which is a basic orientation among any other across the world. Locals told us also the story that the materials were damaged. From a dynamite we found a powder of explosion in the lower structures because they were using this part of river pebble outside of the ground, thinking it's an ordinary stone. We're fine until here. This is our last step.
Arkadaşlar burası bayağı büyük ya.
That's the biggest. We're not suggesting any further climbing. That's the last step to take. It's very steep to go further to the top.
Yeah, I understand.
Stairs.
Also, I am not volunteer to go up.
This is where we recommend the guests to arrive. There's no point going anywhere further.
Yeah.
You saw the shape over there. This is 20 centimeters first side, second, third, and fourth. On the edge there was a broken river pebble. Or all the way from here, you can see there are sections that were damaged from that previous happening. This was before before they created these materials, we excavated the site and we found fossilized leaves. This is a part of structural stability.
How many times bigger than Khafre, Cheops or Egypt?
This is 368 meters compared to 146 in the Pyramid of Giza. That's 2 times bigger. The volume of these structures is more than 30 million tons altogether, but covered by soil. So the side has 4 levels of layers, which is a lower angle, which was stepped in because of this structural stability, and they hold on the material so it cannot break further. This is because there was already a damaged space over there. These pictures show radiocarbon datings. The oldest leaf founded here in the section 12 in 2013 was 29,200 years. And this gentleman, his name is Timothy Moon. He was our previous archaeologist. The one before that discovered the material side from this point where you can see where we passed, this is the leaf that's about 24,800 years. Comparing this radiocarbon determination from 15%, you get 33,600 years of the age of complete structure, which can explain how old is the material. The Professor Laviolette from the United States has calculated this result in 2014, which makes this one of the oldest concretes in history, or one of the oldest as well. 15,000 years is a substrate of clay or part of land that we uncovered, and this is what we got after we tested the parts of the substrate from the land coverage, and this is the Institute for Pedology in Bosnia that approved it. The museum didn't, and they wrote a petition in this year, in 2008, after we excavated the structure, not to go anywhere further, and they explained this as a harassment to the castle, which is on the top and a remain from 13th century. On the top of the same material side, these physicians recorded ultrasound beams, which is directly connected to the theories of Nikola Tesla. It's like a scalar wave. It actually can accumulate through 12 months, or this is what you have. This is what the explanation. How does the material side or the moon eclipse actually electrifies the field or the voltage back in those days when we recorded that phenomenon? This is a case of the instruments that they use. There are several physical teams from Croatia, from Serbia, from Italy, from Finland, previous from Russia. They were also from Germany. They set their anomalies that happens in this case also from the tunnels. We speak about negative ions, Schumann frequency, it's constant here, and it's strange fact that we saw that it affects the people health issues, or it's not a medical treatment, but when most of the guests arrive here or when they enter the tunnel, there's a negative radiation on this point, and there's a self-healing progress next to the fact that the aura field can change. People mostly use these frequencies for some other issues like asthma, from the lung problems, from some other things. And the interesting fact is this is even a higher volume than any natural mountain or hill close to Sarajevo, or this part of the valley where Bosnia is in the central part, which we recorded with the 8 iron counters. So the fact is that the materials here can produce frequencies or somehow can accumulate the highest level of this ultrasound stage to 28 kilohertz on the top. It's a certain signal or some kind of communication level. Second thing is, we don't have a proper fact to explain this as grave or tomb. Do you have a question before we finish? This is our last route. We can now return back to the house and with the car.
I have not any question. I know already something about this. Just one thing it was missing. I have to see, you know.
Yeah, well, you see it on your first place, then you can understand what's the real background. We have a lot of issues here, since the thing is
and it's a pity nobody knows, because if you search on internet what I have to see in the Bosna, always they are saying
not accepted. So that's why we work individually. Dr. Stanigic has been presenting this project for over 20 years, at least the last 15. He travels around the world. He owns the place. Some of the parts of the spaces were allowed to us from the tunnel to be decked, but from this part to the top, not exactly. Because there are also other pyramids here. The terrace ones in the mood, which is a different structure from this point, a separate hill from the view from here. And this tunnel would be my recommendation, because you have also a guidance tour here for 45 minutes. There's just a confirmation of what you saw over here. Thank you. If you had
Thank-
all the
thank you
front,
too.
the front back here, you can see the shape of the tree is different. It doesn't even grow like this in the central part of any. On the Mediterranean part of the side of Croatia doesn't have this kind of height, or it's not exactly the same.
Yalnız bu nehrin kenarına kurulan şehir o kadar güzel ki içinden geçerken zaten videoyu da çalıştırdım. Çok güzel, yani motorla içinden bir sürü şehrin, bir sürü köyün içinden geçtim ama burası farklı yani. Yolları tertemiz, evler düzenli. Bakalım şimdi de öbür piramitin tünellerine girmeye çalışacağız. Bakalım ne olacak. Görüşürüz arkadaşlar.